Hello, this is CurtisCroweThePhotoPro here, and today we're going to talk about a time-lapse I recently shot, as you can see from last week's videos. And there's a couple things wrong with it, and we're going to cover that actually right now. So the YouTube video that you guys saw was this one. It was 4K. It's very beautiful, nice colors, very sharp, but there's two problems with it. One, there's a deer that comes by. Two, it shakes. And if you didn't see that, we're going to play that one more time. Right there. You see that shake? And what that probably is, because there was no wind that day, is it probably was just a ground mole or something like that that moved my tripod from underneath. Also, there's animals going around, so it could have been indigenous life forms, but we don't know for sure. But regardless, we are going to still try to fix it. So in order to get rid of the issue with the bump, we need to find out which one of those frames is the bump. Now, in order to find this as quickly as possible, we know it's about 9 seconds in, and it is after the deer. So what I would just recommend doing is going through here, finding which one the deer is. You just have to go in there and find that one yourself, and just preview them and just go down, 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 down until you find the bump. Very simple process. Without that bump, we got that problem fixed. Very simple. Again, you just find the one frame and remove it. Now, if you're very familiar with programs like Premiere, you can also use its stabilization feature. It should be able to find that one frame and also stabilize the entire thing in order to prevent any kind of movement. But if you're not used to Premiere or you don't normally use it, this is a much simpler way. Now, moving on to our next thing, we need to still get rid of those deer. And in order to get rid of those deer, we're going to try something now. I haven't tried this yet to see how the outcome will turn out, but we're going to go ahead and try it anyways. We're going to go ahead and remove them out of every frame in which those deer are in. So let's go ahead and try to find them in Lightroom, just by going from frame to frame to frame. Alright, so now we found the one with the deer in it. So we just go over here and find the first frame, and we're going to remove these guys just like we remove zits off a person's face. And we're going to go ahead and see if that is going to have a heavy effect on the time-lapse. I'm hoping it's not, but there is a potential of that. So let's go ahead and start the removal process. Obviously, we can make it look pretty convincing in just one frame, but if that frame is always moving, then it is going to affect our image quality in the video, but we're going to see exactly by how much. If it's not by a lot, then we can still sell this to a client, no problem, and we should be hunky-dory. So I'm going to go ahead and mark each one of these that actually have the deer in it. And it's going to be a little difficult right here because we have the rainbow reflection effect on there from the lens and the sun. But we'll see if we can work with it. And what we're doing here is we're just lining it up with the rainbow to make it look as realistic as possible. This should zoom across really fast, so I don't think it's going to affect it too much. Oh, and we have a shadow here, so you got to be careful of all the elements. I did not realize we missed the shadow. So we're kind of learning this together. Now, for you gurus that are really good at video editing, this might actually be better for you in After Effects. After Effects has a lot of very nice features that are perfect for removing subjects out of your image, or I should say video. because After Effects is like Photoshop for your videos. It's what the big businesses and stuff like that use in order to remove green screen people and stuff like that out of movies. If you've ever seen Paranormal Activity and whatnot, we're going to move that over here so we can try to keep the look of that fence right there. And if we can't get it, then we're going to have to oh, so close. Come on, baby. Just one little nudge over. Come on. There we go. And that looks convincing. And now we got to get little baby deer out of the way and remove that shadow. So we go boom. Luckily for us, he is very small. And then I'm going to take a smaller brush and just get along here real quick. And I'm going to go ahead and call that okay. Let's look at the next image. And the last image. Yeah, we'll see how this looks. I'm not feeling too convinced that it's going to be the way we want it to look. Let me just check one thing out real quick, because again, we're learning this together right now. See, that looks much better to me as a photo, but that is dramatically different from the actual photo there. So let's go ahead and not deal with that. Okay, so that should be as it is. Let's go ahead and go on to the next photo. And once they get out of this area, I think it's going to become a lot easier. Where'd they go? There we go. And once they're also out of the way of the fence, because the fence is kind of annoying for them to work with. Get that. Get that. Now, I'm still posting this video whether this looks good or not, because it's a learning experience for everyone. And I'm sure somebody else wants to know exactly how the results turn out. And that baby is still on that little rainbow doodad there, and that's so annoying. Well, at least we got it to look good off the first try. Sometimes Lightroom can be really smart about this stuff. Sometimes it can be really dumb. Let's go on to the next shot. See, now they're way over here. That's going to look way better for editing purposes. Let's get a little bit more zoomed in on there. And we'll shrink the brush because we don't want to affect too much of the image. Just kind of brush them up in there. Just like that. And I don't like it over there, so we're going to go over here. And that looks good, but we're going to brush just a little bit more right here because that doesn't look... That's the only bad looking spot. Seriously? That's what I don't like about Lightroom sometimes, is it really just picks wherever it wants. And then we're going to remove the shadow. See, and I think that's going to look way better in the end result. Let's go ahead and click here. Boom. Okay, we're making progress. They should be off the frame very shortly here. And then we get to see what the final result looks like. With no shake and no deer in the immediate frame. I don't mind the ones that are off in the distance, but these little guys here are just way too distracting in the foreground. And if I were to send this to a client, I would honestly send them both copies where you have the deer that are back here, which you'll see in the other frames, and the ones without them, because I would also edit them out as well, for clients, because you really want to give them the option, and they don't like distracting things. So if the background there's deer running around, even the little ones that are way off in the distance, that might not be what your client wants. So in order to make the most money off doing stock videography for time lapses, it's good to give them options. Boom. See, that looks so much better when they're far away like that. And we are almost done. Just keep it going. Grab that right there. Put that there. So far, so good. Check that last frame. Okay, and it looks like the deer are officially gone. Alright, so now we're going to do the final test in just a moment. I don't like this dark spot here. Try that. And honestly, I think we're going to have to probably just deal with it. Oh, actually, that looks a bit better. Let's compare that to the other frame. It's still not quite there. But let's go ahead and give this an export without the red frame, because one of these have a red frame. There it is. That's our culprit that ruined our last time lapse. So we're going to just go for gray and green. So that should include the green shots here. There we go. We're going to select them all. Export. And because this is going to be a test, we are not doing this in our full resolution. We're going to go for 1920. If this was a test that I was doing just in the office, I honestly wouldn't even go 1920. I'd probably go for 1280 just to speed up the process a little bit, because we don't want to take too long rendering. Sample changes in time lapse, because speed is the name of the game, and you want to make sure you can deliver your product as quickly as possible, so you don't want to spend a bunch of time rendering. So it actually saves you a lot of time to do test shots just in case something goes wrong, and then you can fix it and then re-render. So that's just a word to the wise for all you out there. And we're going to go ahead and let this export, and we will be right back. Alright, so the time-lapse has just finished in both Lightroom and my time-lapse assembler. So we're going to go ahead and check it. Again, I didn't set it for the highest settings because this is a test shoot and I want to save time and money. So we're going to go ahead and keep watching, and we're looking for any kind of graphical glitches. I think they're going to be, yep. Did you see it? I could not, and I expected this to a very large degree, because you're changing a small area, and although each individual frame looks just perfectly fine, when you mash them together like this, it unfortunately ruins the video. So this is not something I would be able to sell to a client like this. So what we would have to do is run this into After Effects and find a way to get rid of them that way. And I think it's very possible, and I'm going to research and figure out how to do it, so that way I can teach you guys how to do it. But unfortunately, we have to do a little extra research before we can get this ready to sell. At least we were able to go ahead and smoothen out the video, because that one frame was causing the video to shake a little bit at the end. That being done, I think is a huge step forward to making this time lapse look better. So what have we learned today? We learned that we can go ahead and remove one frame that shakes in order to smoothen out the entire video. But we also learned that we can't use spot removal in order to fix this video issue. So we're going to go ahead and make this a part 1 video, and once I figure this out for you guys. We're going to go ahead and make a part 2 video so I can keep you guys informed and educated so you can move forward and apply this to your own photography. As always, this has been Curtis Crowe, the Photo Pro, and as I always do, toodles. Second thing is very important, and I feel like it's something that people kind of graze over, and that's itemize your gear. Find out how much every single piece of gear you have costs.
Nice front element. I don't know if you can see that. How beautiful that is. Let's open up the other side so you can see all the way.
Jeans, if we wanted to see how much that's changed in the before and after shot.